What's good, Josh? Jagan Makai. Welcome back to my channel. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to 1,000 subscribers. Every subscriber helps. Over here on this channel, we make daily NBA content. So if you enjoy the NBA as much as I do, please subscribe. And today we're going to be talking about, once again, the James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets trade. And I know I talked about this yesterday, but I just feel like I didn't really cover everything because it was just like, an initial reaction video. So now that I've had, a day to really reflect and really think about the whole trade situation, now I see, exactly what this new Brooklyn Nets team is. So obviously, everybody knows Kevin Durant's there, Kyrie Irving's there. They add James Harden, they ship out Karis LeVert, 8 draft picks, and Jared Allen, and now the Nets are a super team. And now you might be thinking, oh, if the Nets are a super team, then shouldn't they automatically be the favorite? But no, the Nets might be the first super team in NBA history that was not favored in a finals. Like not favored to win the whole thing because when you look at this Nets team, you look Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. Who out of those three is an elite defender? Where's the defense coming from? And I know that the game is only half defense, maybe not even fully half defense because offense is a real big thing. Because if you can get stops, but you can't put points on the board, you're not gonna win the game. To put it plain and simple, just like that. If you can't get stops, no. If you can get stops, but you can't put points on the board, you're not gonna win the game. You can't stop somebody every single time, so you need to score. But at the same time, though, you do need to be able to, put together some stops and key moments. You do need to be able to, lock in on defense. You can't just get, walked all over on defense and, still expect to win the championship. So the Nets have a built-in excuse really to, not win the championship this year. Now, are we gonna let them use that excuse ever? If the Nets don't win the championship this year, I think the slander for James Harden, KD, and Kyrie is gonna be at an all-time high because if we're being realistic, you know what I'm saying? Let's sit here and really talk about this. If we're being realistic, we expect the Nets to be in the finals. Anything less than the finals is gonna result in all-time high-level slander for those three stars over in Brooklyn. But if they don't win the championship with a super team, because a super team you need to have at least two top five guys, and then on top of that, a third guy who's a well established star. So the Nets are definitely that, but the Lakers aren't a super team, but they're about as close as you can get to a super team without being a super team. Add one more star to that Lakers team, and they're a super team. But the thing about the Lakers is they're a tier below super team, but they have great offense and great defense, and that's the truth about this whole James Harden Nets thing. The Nets they really just traded for James Harden so they can have an overwhelming offense. But when you're gonna play a team like the Lakers in the finals, because if we're being honest here, we expect the Lakers and the Nets to be in the finals. If they're gonna play the Lakers in the finals, who's gonna guard AD? Who's gonna guard LeBron? Who's gonna guard anybody on the Lakers? Who's gonna get the stops when it comes down to it? Because let's say it's a clutch moment in the finals, game one, and they up. Let's say the Lakers is up like four with like a minute left. If the Nets cannot string together some stops on the defensive end, they really have no chance to beat a team like the Lakers. Now, what can the Nets do to improve that defense? There are some guys on the market that I think that will help their defense a lot. I mentioned it yesterday. Rondae Hollis Jefferson, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, and I think those are two guys that the Nets should look at to add to even just help the defense just a little bit. Give them a little more depth. And when it comes to the center position, the Nets have one center right now. Their one center is DeAndre Jordan, so they may have to go small a little bit more than they like. So you might see a lot of Jeff Green at the five. You might see even KD sometimes go down to the five. And I just think that the defense on the Nets team is going to be rough. But I do think that they're going to make it out of the East. That is the truth. Because when you look at the team like Philadelphia, I don't think their offense can handle what the Nets offense is going to give them. And then when you look at a team like the Bucks, I don't think that the Bucks offense is enough to handle the Nets offense. And any team in the NBA in the Eastern Conference can't really handle them. And let's say in some crazy shocking way that somehow the Lakers get bounced out in the Western Conference Finals. I think whoever comes out of the West, not named the Lakers, are gonna have a very tough time with the Brooklyn Nets. But yeah, man, that's just really my whole thought about the whole Brooklyn Nets situation. Because they are a super team, don't get me wrong. But they're a super team with a glaring weakness. Because when you look at the last, couple titles, Well, I read something earlier today. It said that from the 2004 Pistons all the way to the Lakers last season, the team who won the NBA title has never been less than 11th in defensive rating in the NBA. You got that. So the last couple teams for the last nearly 2 decades of NBA championships, the team that has won has never been lower than 11 on defense. From what we saw from this Nets team so far, even before the Harden trade, the Nets defense is a bottom of the barrel type defense. Like I'm talking like like 20th worst defense, not 20th worst, but like 20th ranked defense, like 18th ranked defense. And I don't think a team with defense that bad is gonna cut it. And there are a couple things they can do to mend that defense, but I really do not think that there's anybody on the market to, even to look for a trade on the market. I don't think there's anybody that really solves the defensive issues. So for the Lakers, for the Nets to win the title this year, all three of those stars are gonna have to go berserk on offense, and then it's gonna fall on Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni to figure out how they're gonna, get everybody the shots they want and the shots they deserve, quite frankly. But yeah, that's really the whole truth about the Brooklyn Nets, in my opinion. 'Cause I feel like a lot of people, weren't really talking about this because they are, outstanding offensive team. They're gonna win a lot of games. But when it comes to defense, I don't think, in a realistic situation, they can get the stops necessary, down the stretch even in games. I don't think they can get the stops necessary to win some of the close games. And in the NBA, you need to be able to do, things on both offense and defense. But I do think that they'll have no problem getting out of the East. But when it comes to the finals, where they're probably going to face the Lakers, I do think that they will most likely lose to the Lakers. But then again, this is all opinion. We're going to have to see what's happening. KD's playing great. KD played great for the time we saw him. And James Harden, we haven't really seen him, locked in because he didn't really want to play for Houston at that point. So I think this will work. But if they don't want to ring with this group right here, I'm gonna have to say the trade was a failure. And I really hope I don't have to say that. But we just gonna have to see, man. Let me know what you think about the whole James Harden situation in the comments. Let me know if you think, you're going to give them the excuse of not having a good defense. Just comment, below. It helps a lot. Like below. It helps a lot. But yeah, if you see this in this video, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.